Shoot down confirmed. Venezuelan Su-30 kills American reconnaissance aircraft. 8 U.S. personnel dead. Caribbean Sea, international waters, unprovoked aggression. Presidential authorization immediate. Regime change operation launched. 200-plus aircraft inbound. Maduro falls within 72 hours. This is air combat. Caribbean Sea, international airspace, 45 miles from Venezuelan coast. U.S. Navy EP-3E Ares the Sexton, electronic reconnaissance aircraft. Routine intelligence mission, legal operation, monitoring Maduro regime, drug trafficking surveillance, Cuban military coordination, Russian presence assessment, everything legitimate, until Venezuelan aggression, until Su-30 intercept, until missile launch, until 8 Americans die. Air combat witnesses murder. EP-3E Ares 2, call sign, recon. 1. 24 crew aboard, electronic warfare specialists, intelligence analysts, linguists, technical experts, flying 22,000 feet, speed 320 knots, radar signature large, easy detection, non-threatening profile, unarmed aircraft, peaceful mission, professional operation, then Venezuelan fighter approaches, then hostile action, then tragedy, air combat catastrophe. Venezuelan Air Force Su-30MKV flanker, Russian export variant, 12 aircraft total inventory, tonight 1 airborne, pilot identity classified, orders, intercept American spy plane, harass, intimidate, force departure, standard procedure, except tonight different, tonight deadly, pilot launches R-77 missile, active radar homing, 50-mile range, EP-3E cannot evade, cannot defend, only die, air combat witnesses war crime. Best crisis response option? A. Immediate invasion. B. Targeted strikes. Economic sanctions? Comment your choice. R-77 impacts EP-3E, starboard wing, fuel tank penetration, explosion immediate, wing separates, aircraft uncontrollable, pilot attempts emergency, impossible, altitude loss rapid, ocean impact inevitable, mayday transmitted, last words recorded. We're going down, Venezuelan fighter shot us. 8 souls aboard, 8 families destroyed, 8 reasons, invasion, air combat demands justice. Wreckage recovery begins. U.S. Coast Guard responding. Caribbean sea depth 12,000 feet. Black box search initiated. Bodies recovery attempted. Evidence collection priority. Venezuelan aggression documented. International law violated. Act of war committed. American blood spilled. Presidential response guaranteed. Regime change authorized. Air combat delivers consequences. According to Air Combat Command analysis, Venezuelan military capability degraded significantly past decade. Socialist mismanagement, economic collapse, maintenance neglected, training reduced, readiness minimal. 12 Su-30 operational from 24 purchased, 80 F-16 grounded from equipment, air defense antiquated, S-125 Soviet era, no modern integration, comprehensive weakness, American overwhelming advantage, invasion feasible, victory certain, air combat calculates strategically. White House emergency session. President briefed, options presented, diplomatic protest inadequate, economic sanctions insufficient, military response necessary, but scale debated, targeted strike, limited operation, full invasion, Secretary Defense recommends regime change, CIA Director concurs, Joint Chiefs support comprehensive operation, Venezuelan threat eliminated permanently, Maduro removed, democracy restored, regional stability, air combat strategic opportunity. Presidential authorization signed, Operation Freedom Thunder. Objectives, Maduro regime elimination, military capability destruction, democratic government installation, humanitarian assistance, drug trafficking interdiction, regional stabilization, comprehensive mission, 72-hour timeline, overwhelming force, decisive victory. Air combat executes. Wait for strike package launch. What happens next changes South America forever. Strike package massive. Carrier Air Wing 8, USS George H.W. Bush, 60 F-A-18 Super Hornets, USS America Amphibious Assault, 20 F-35B Lightning II, Eglin Air Force Base, 40 F-15E Strike Eagles, MacDill Air Force Base, 24 F-16 Fighting Falcons, total 144 strike aircraft, supporting 32 tankers, 8 EA-18G Growlers, 4 E-2D Hawkeyes, largest Caribbean operation since Grenada 1983, air combat overwhelming force. First wave, CAD mission, electronic warfare, Venezuelan air defense suppression, EA-18G Growler jamming, S-125 radars blinded, tracking degraded, engagement delayed, F-16CJ Wild Weasel follows, AGM-88 harm missiles, 16 launches, 12 radar sites destroyed, air defense network collapsed, Venezuelan sky naked, air combat owns airspace. Second wave, fighter sweep, F-22 Raptor engaging, 12 aircraft from Homestead ARB Florida, Venezuelan Su-30 intercepted, air-to-air combat, AIM-120D AMRAAM launched, BVR engagement, 8 Venezuelan fighters destroyed, 4 escape Cuba, 0 American losses, air superiority absolute, Venezuelan Air Force eliminated, air combat domination total. Maximum Venezuelan Su-30 operational, A, 8 aircraft, B, 12 aircraft, 24 aircraft, answer at mission end. Third wave, strategic bombing, Caracas targeted, Miraflores Palace, presidential residence, Maduro location intelligence, 78% confidence, GBU-31 JDAM strikes, 12 bombs penetrate, building destroyed, casualties uncertain, Maduro survival unknown, but regime decapitated symbolically, command paralyzed, Venezuela leaderless, air combat strategic strike. Fourth wave, military infrastructure, La Carlota Air Base, Maracay Air Base, Puerto Cabello Naval Base, everything targeted, FA-18 Super Hornets delivering, runway cratering, hangar destruction, barracks bombing, ammunition depot explosions, fuel storage inferno, Venezuelan military capability eliminated, resistance impossible, air combat comprehensive devastation. Stealth approach or overwhelming numbers, comment S for stealth or N for numbers. Fifth wave, leadership targeting, intelligence community provides, 40 regime officials locations, cabinet ministers, military commanders, intelligence chiefs, collectivo leaders, criminal network heads, everything targeted, Hellfire missiles from MQ-9 Reaper drones, precision strikes, individual elimination, 32 confirmed kills, Venezuelan leadership decapitated, government collapsed, air combat decisive. If you believe regime change operations restore democracy, type air combat below. Venezuelan military response pathetic, remaining S-125 launches, 8 missiles, ancient technology, 1960s vintage, countermeasures effective, electronic warfare jamming, chaff clouds deployed, 0 hits, American aircraft untouched, Venezuelan desperation obvious, capability insufficient, technology obsolete, air combat superiority demonstrated. Ground invasion begins. U.S. Marines amphibious landing. La Guaira Port, 2,400 Marines. M1A1 Abrams tanks. AAV-7 amphibious vehicles. AH-1Z Viper gunships. Close air support continuous. Venezuelan army resistance minimal. 100 soldiers surrender immediately. 400 fight briefly. 340 casualties. 60 escape. Military collapse rapid. Air combat enables ground victory. Colombian military coordination, border security, refugee management, intelligence sharing, airspace coordination, regional ally support, Brazilian government monitoring, diplomatic backing, perimeter security, Venezuelan escape routes blocked, regional isolation complete, air combat coalition warfare. Maduro fate uncertain. Palace bombed, communications ceased, location unknown, bunker suspected, underground facility, intelligence tracking, drone surveillance continuous, escape to Cuba attempted, aircraft tracked, interdiction ready, Maduro captured or killed, regime ended regardless. Air combat achieves objective. According to Aviation Week data, Operation Freedom Thunder cost estimated $2.8 billion. 72-hour operation, 4,100 sorties, 8,400 munitions. Fuel consumption massive. Personnel deployment extensive. Venezuelan military destruction 94%. Infrastructure damage 78%. Regime capability eliminated. Democratic transition enabled. Investment justified. Air combat economic calculation. Who wins Caribbean crisis? Drop your prediction below. Venezuelan casualties mounting. Military personnel 5,200 killed, 3,800 wounded. Regime officials 32 eliminated. Colectivo militants 180 dead. Criminal network leaders 12 killed. Civilian casualties 420 estimated. Collateral damage, regrettable losses. But precision strikes minimize. Infrastructure targeting reduces. Humanitarian consideration present. Air combat proportional force. American casualties minimal. EP-3E crew 8 killed originally. Marine landing 4 killed, 12 wounded. FA-18 mechanical failure, 2 crew lost. Total casualties 14 dead. Historically low. Technology advantage, training superiority, overwhelming force, professional execution. Air combat protects personnel. International reaction divided. Russia condemns aggression. China protests intervention. Cuba threatens retaliation. But Latin American nations relieved. Colombia approves. Brazil supports. Panama grateful. Regional stability restored. Drug trafficking reduced. Refugee crisis prevented. Democratic government installed. Air combat regional benefit. United Nations Security Council emergency session. Russia veto expected. China abstains surprisingly. Venezuelan aggression undeniable. EP-3E shootdown documented. 8 Americans murdered. Self-defense justified. Regime change debatable, but fait accompli. Venezuelan government fallen. Democratic transition beginning. Air combat shapes reality. Interim government established. Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaidó returns. Constitutional authority claimed. International recognition immediate. Democratic elections scheduled. 90 days timeline. International observers. Free press restored. Political prisoners released. Air combat enables democracy. Oil production secured. PDVSA facilities protected. American companies return. Production resumes. 2 million barrels daily. Global supply increased. Prices stabilized. Regional economy improved. Venezuelan people benefit. Air combat economic restoration. Drug trafficking interdiction. DEA operations expanded. Cartel networks disrupted. Cocaine seizures increased. Regional security enhanced. Colombian cooperation. Brazilian coordination. American leadership. Air combat counter-narcotics success. Refugee crisis prevented. Venezuelan population 28 million. 7 million fled Maduro. Democratic transition enables return. Economic recovery beginning. Hope restored. Regional burden reduced. Colombia relieved. Brazil grateful. Air combat humanitarian benefit. Trump administration celebrates. Former president's statement predictable. Excellent operation. Should have done my term. Maduro tyrant removed. Democracy restored. America strong. Venezuela freed. Political positioning, campaign rhetoric. But operation successful. Results matter. Air combat transcends politics. Congressional reaction bipartisan initially. EP-3E crew honored. Regime change debated. War Powers Act invoked. Presidential authority questioned. But Maduro fallen. Democracy restored. Venezuelan people celebrating. Political controversy fades. Air combat success validates action. Strategic implications permanent. Venezuelan threat eliminated. Russian influence removed. Cuban isolation increased. Chinese presence expelled. American sphere restored. Monroe Doctrine reinforced. Regional hegemony demonstrated. Air combat shapes Western Hemisphere. Colombian security enhanced. Border stabilized. Refugee pressure reduced. Drug trafficking decreased. Venezuelan coordination restored. Regional partnership strengthened. Democratic ally gained. Air combat bilateral benefit. Brazilian confidence increased. Regional stability restored. Economic integration possible. Democratic values spread. American leadership acknowledged. Strategic partnership valued. Air combat shapes South America. Future Venezuelan military rebuilt. Democratic control. Professional standards. American training. Modern equipment. Regional cooperation. Defensive posture. Threat eliminated. Air combat creates ally from enemy. Maduro captured 36 hours post-invasion. Hiding Caracas suburb. Special forces raid. Venezuelan intelligence cooperation. Captured alive. Transported Guantanamo Bay. War crimes trial scheduled. International tribunal. Justice served. Air combat delivers accountability. EP-3E families receive closure. Bodies recovered. Proper burial. Presidential ceremony. Nation honors. Sacrifice acknowledged. Venezuela freed. Democracy restored. Their deaths, meaning, air combat respects fallen. Venezuelan economy recovers. International investment returns. Oil production increases. GDP growth begins. Poverty reduces. Healthcare improves. Education restored. Democratic institutions built. Air combat comprehensive success. Regional stability permanent. Democratic governments, economic cooperation, security coordination, drug trafficking reduced, refugee crisis prevented, American leadership, air combat shapes hemisphere decades. Where the sky decides the victor. That tactical quiz? Maximum Venezuelan Su-30 operational? Answer, B, 12 aircraft operational from 24 purchased. Socialist mismanagement, maintenance neglected, spare parts unavailable, Russian support withdrawn, technology obsolete. Tonight, 8 destroyed, 4 escaped Cuba. Venezuelan Air Force eliminated. Air combat total victory. 3 questions remain. Will Venezuelan democracy survive? Can regime change operations succeed? What's next? Latin American crisis. Subscribe to Air Combat, where aerial supremacy rules, where American personnel avenged, where democracy restored through overwhelming force. This is justified intervention. This is regional stability. This is air combat. Air supremacy, missile dominance, air combat.